Yep, you're reading it right, guys. A $4,300 XRP. And who came up with that? A guy named Robbie Mitchnick. You can see it up there. He used to work at Ripple. And now he works at BlackRock. And he's very active in their digital asset space. Now here they're interviewing the CEO of Tecrium. They launched the first XRP ETF in the United States, but it's a leveraged one. They're not buying XRP directly. However, it is the fastest and largest growing fund to date. And at some point, he said they might have to go spot ETF, or they may be forced to go spot ETF by the SEC. So we'll see if and when that happens. But this is the headline here: Robbie Mitchnick, current head of digital assets over at BlackRock now. His model, you know, that says 4,300. That's the quote from this little video you're going to see. It's a 30-some-odd second video. But this guy right here says, or this guy says, any responsible person would say, you know, you cut that in half and then cut it in half again. Well, that still leaves you with about $1,075 somewhere around there XRP, which I'm going to be very happy with. But the guy who came up with the valuation is a guy who used to, let me see, he was over at Ripple prior to 2018. He co-authored something called a fundamental valuation framework for crypto assets with Susan Athey, another employee at Ripple. She's a Ripple board member, and John Bates, a Clark Medal winner. I don't know what a Clark Medal is, but that's worth looking up. This framework, published in 2018, provided a model for valuing crypto assets, including XRP, and is often referenced in the XRP community. So that's a big deal. But what's Robbie doing now? Robbie Mitchnick, is head of digital assets. He drives BlackRock's strategy for digital assets and distributed ledger technology. He oversees strategic initiatives, including the development of crypto-related products like BlackRock's Spot Bitcoin ETF, which became one of the most successful ETF launches, reaching over 50 billion in assets to this day. So just to give you an idea of who we're talking about, they are discussing the valuation model that Robbie Mitchnick came up, or Robert Mitchnick, when he was in 2018, and he was no kook. BlackRock hired him to run their digital assets division because they know the guy knows what he's talking about. So, you know, when you hear these kinds of numbers being thrown out, I don't think they're being coy here. They're being quite straightforward and honest based on what they know is available out in the market in terms of what pieces of the financial world they can take on early. Now, I've always believed XRP will hit four figures at some point. High four figures the longer we go. But I think that it's not unreasonable to believe that by 2030 we might hit $1,300. So this kind of validates that to a certain degree. There are many people who are starting to believe it's going to hit that four-figure number much faster because of how much activity is coming to the XRPL. I'll give you two right now. There were tons of DeFi protocols that are being built. I mean, I just found out there's 87 other entities currently building decentralized finance protocols and solutions on the XRP ledger. I didn't know that. I thought it was somewhere in the double digits. No, you know, I think we're now talking 100 and some odd entities building DeFi protocols on the XRP ledger, either directly on the ledger or through the EVM. But the activity is big. And the second piece is the ETFs that are coming. ETFs are huge, and there's 20 so far that are pending. And the thinking is there's going to be a ton more XRP-related ETFs in the very near future once those are approved. And so those are going to bring a lot of money into the XRP ledger. Not to mention the real estate or the treasuries that are being tokenized on it. Not to mention if it takes over part of the SWIFT activity, right? We're talking about the transfers of value that use SWIFT messaging. If we take over a small percentage, 10, 14, 15, 20% of it, it'll put you in four figures on its own. But when you marry that to everything else I just mentioned prior, that's a big deal. So let's go on and listen to this small interview here that occurred over at the Apex 2025 conference. And let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, bookmark it, and we will see you on the next one. Till next time, adios amigos. Check out the vid. It's interesting.
Mitchnick model. You know, that says $4,300 XRP. So that's pretty happy.
Well, so.
But, you know, any good businessman cuts it in half again, and then maybe thinks about it. And there are a lot of assumptions in that model. There are other models that say $5. So, take your pick in between. I think it'll take time. I think the industry still needs to mature. The XRP overhang, which is substantial, needs to be utilized, and that's going to take a while for the real price explosion that people expect.